Hi class, my name is Cole Wilson. Welcome to my PowerPoint, and this is for Kinesiology 550, legal issues in kinesiology, and let's just jump right into it. So first we're going to look at the facility background I've chosen. The career path I've chosen is a strength and conditioning coach, as well as a college professor. The facility that this would be taking place in would be either a gym, weight room, track or field. As you know, as a strength and conditioning coach, their job could be performed in many different settings, as well as a classroom for the professor. Why? As a former athlete, I know the importance of strength and conditioning. An athlete must work hard in the areas of strength and conditioning if they want to see improvements in muscular strength and endurance, speed, cardiovascular endurance, and injury prevention. I'm passionate about helping these athletes learn the proper techniques and strategies in fitness, nutrition, and mental approach to help them maximize their performance and achieve their goals. So, first legal issue we'll look at when looking at the facility background is the case of Meyer versus LA Fitness International, LLC, 2008. A man by the name of Alessio Tringali died as a result of cardiac arrest that he suffered while using a stepping machine at LA Fitness in Oakland Park, Florida. His daughter filed a wrongful death action against LA Fitness, alleging that LA Fitness breached its duty to use reasonable care for the safety of the deceased, including the duty to render aid during a medical emergency. Specifically, the plaintiff asserted that LA Fitness, 1, failed to properly screen the deceased's health condition at or about the time he joined the health club, 2, failed to administer cardiopulmonary resuscitation to him, 3, failed to have an automatic external defibrillator on its premises and to use it on the deceased, and lastly, 4, failed to properly train its employees and agents for handling medical emergencies. Another issue that took place in this type of setting was Vargo versus Svitchin in 1980. In this case, Vargo, a 15-year-old high school student, reported to his first of scheduled series of weightlifting training sessions in preparation for high school football team tryouts in the fall. This session took place in the high school gymnasium. Vargo pushed himself to beyond his limits, and while lifting, he fell, receiving injuries resulting in paraplegia. It is alleged that Gregory Vargo's 2 spotters failed to react quickly enough to seize the barbell before the fall. Vargo's complaint alleges the athletic director, the principal, and the school superintendent negligently supervised Coach Lesnar and allowed Lesnar to abuse students, threatening and pressuring them to attempt athletic feats beyond their capabilities, which ended up resulting in Vargo's injury. The complaint further alleges that the gymnasium facilities were inadequate and defective, and with the lack of sufficient ventilation, Vargo began to sweat excessively, contributing to his injuries. Lastly, with the facility background, a legal instance we'll look at is Franklin versus Gwinnett County Public Schools. And the petitioner, Christine Franklin, was a student at North Gwinnett High School in Gwinnett County, Georgia. According to the complaint filed on December 29, 1988, Franklin was subjected to continual sexual harassment beginning in the autumn of her 10th grade year from Andrew Hill, a sports coach and teacher employed by the district. The complaint further alleges that though they became aware of and investigated Hill's sexual harassment of Franklin and other female students, teachers and administrators took no action to halt it and discouraged Franklin from pressing charges against Hill. These are just 3 legal issues that have taken place in the past in this type of facility background. Next, we're going to look at 3 specific risks that are present in the specific setting that we're looking at. First, let's define risk management as a course of action designed to reduce the risk, probability, or likelihood of injury and loss to sport participants, spectators, employees, management, and organizations. The types of risk that managers should consider include personnel issues such as the task of sexual harassment and discrimination, and issues concerning harm such as the risk of physical injury to spectators, players, coaches, supervisors, and other employees. Additional general risk categories include bloodborne pathogens, sudden cardiac arrest, child protection issues, fire, heat-related illness, lighting and other severe weather, security, protection from violence, sport-related trauma, and vehicular accidents and injuries. These are all potential risk management issues for this type of setting. Let's look at injury and negligence as being one of the risks that we want to avoid. The most common sources include dangerous or improper equipment, hazardous premises, improper instruction, and improper supervision. All these things could result in a serious injury. The equipment must be clean and in good working order. Understanding how to properly use and inspect the machine is vital. Providing a safe environment is essential. This includes properly cleaning, removing any hazards, and making sure the equipment is properly spaced within the mirrors in the proper places. Things such as emergency lighting and fire extinguishers should be periodically checked as well. Instruction is expected to be proper, accurate, and delivered in a professional manner. This should include warnings of potential risks if the movements are performed improperly. Supervision is extremely important, and having an emergency action plan in place. Next, another risk of this type of setting is sexual harassment. Now, in order to avoid sexual harassment, it's important to promote a work environment that is diverse and respectful. Having individuals of multiple ethnicities and genders should promote diversity. It's important to establish immediately that sexual harassment will not be tolerated at all from the staff or the clients. Possibly conducting group workouts when instructing athletes or clients of the opposite sex, avoiding that one-on-one setting, or potentially filming the facility during a workout could be a good way to keep everyone accountable. Known to who contact within the chain of command, making sure they are legally notified, and knowing the proper procedures for interviewing both the victim and the accused. And in this situation, it's important to always just practice ethics and be doing the right thing, and then you won't have to worry about it. Lastly, there could always be previous health concerns that arise. Many clients will suffer an injury or death while training and will claim that they did not receive proper pre-participation screening to ensure they were in good health and fully prepared to participate. The conducting of an assessment should always take place before the implementation of a workout plan, and if there's any question whether or not a client is able to participate in a workout program safely, then they should not be included and should be advised to see their physician as soon as possible. Next, we're going to look at employment laws. And employment law encompasses a wide range of issues concerning people and their relationships at work. Examples include an employee could be fired or passed over for promotion, a qualified job applicant is not hired, an employee is sexually harassed while on the job, or an employee injures herself or others while on the job. The work environment in sport may refer to traditional jobs such as managing staff and facilities or planning events, but it also refers to the athletes' jobs as well. First case we're going to look at is Hegner versus Board of Education of City of Chicago. In this case, Rosemary Hegner, a tenured high school teacher, was dismissed as a teacher from the Chicago Board of Education because of conduct unbecoming of a teacher. Insufficient evidence existed to support that Hegner made any inappropriate sexual contacts with her students, and she also received no written warning prior to her dismissal. So in this type of setting of kinesiology, either in the weight room or the classroom, sexual harassment is always an issue to look out for. To ensure this does not happen, proper background checks should be administered, proper training provided for the employees, and making sure all the steps are followed in the event that something like this does occur with other employees, making sure you go up the chain of command and contact the right entities that are necessary. Next case we're going to look at is Davis versus Monroe County Board of Education. And in this case, the mother of a student alleged that her fifth grade daughter had been the victim of sexual harassment by another student in her class and brought suit against the Monroe County Board of Education and other defendants. In a professional setting, this could happen easily among students, classmates, staff, teammates, etc. And just showing you how this is a relevant issue for this setting. While in a supervisory role, one must be aware that what is taking place at all times and do their very best to try to avoid that. And if it does take place, notify the correct people, the parents if they're underage, the police, principals, whoever needs to be involved, just so you cover yourself. Lastly, in the employment category, in the case of Gillespie versus Southern Utah State College, Ricky Gillespie filed an action to recover damages for personal injuries, for emotional injuries, and loss of educational and employment opportunities by the plaintiff, Ghislaine Gillespie, Ricky's wife. So, Gillespie was attending college on a basketball scholarship, and he suffered a sprained ankle, where a student trainer took control of the treatment. After some improper treatment of this injury, Gillespie ended up having to have part of his foot actually amputated. Very unfortunate, but these things do happen. So to avoid this, making sure that the athlete or the client sees a physician or doctor that's approved by the school or the team or the organization, and clients should always be encouraged to get multiple opinions. Alright, winding down now, looking back at what we've learned over this class and how I can apply it to my future career goals. As a strength and conditioning coach, I'll definitely be aware of the potential risks, legal risks that are involved with working in that setting, as far as injuries, safety, the equipment, giving proper instruction to the clients. Very important that I don't leave myself negligent in those areas. If I ever am lucky enough to own my own company, I now understand the importance of having, the right insurance, lawyers, a team of risk management specialists with different responsibilities, making sure we're covered in all areas, making sure there's no employment or discrimination issues, and going down the career path of a teacher. It's important to know that classroom setting, the parents are expecting their children to be safe at all times, and to just practice ethics and stay as far away from any sexual harassment problems as possible. Some biblical references when talking about how to lead. Some good ones are 1 Timothy 3:12. It says, "Now the overseer is to be above reproach, faithful to his wife, temperate, self-controlled, respectful, hospitable, able to teach." Another great one is 2 Timothy 2:15. "Do your best to present yourself to God as one approved, a worker who does not need to be ashamed, and who correctly handles the word of truth." And lastly, John 13:16. "Very truly I tell you, no servant is greater than his master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him." And these are just great verses, just kind of instructing us how to fulfill that position of leadership and do as God would want us to. And lastly, we're to look at any legal issues that could arise in our current society. And if you look at teachers in the classroom, coaches praying on the field after practice or a game, it looks like there's individuals out there looking for any opportunity to sue somebody or create a lawsuit or get in the news. So it's just important to be smart about that and just show others our love and our love for Christ through our actions. And in Matthew 5:16 it says, "Let your light so shine before men, they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven." So thanks for a great semester. Looking forward to more, and thanks a lot.